Sir, if you would be seated right here. But before sitting down, if you could raise your right hand as best you can and be sworn.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you shall give in the case now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. If you'd be seated there. Do you need a hand?
Do I face forward?
Yeah, just face forward here.
And Judge, I have a little problem
Okay.
here. So,
We'll speak up. You may.
Thank you for being here this morning. I guess we're getting into the afternoon now. As I've explained to you before, we're going to refer to you as inmate number 4 instead of using your name. Okay? You're presently incarcerated, is that correct?
yes, sir.
And what for? What's your crime?
Drugs.
Okay. Do you have a criminal history?
Yes, sir.
Have you been convicted of felonies before?
Yes, sir.
Multiple felonies?
A couple of times.
Okay. And stretches back quite a ways, doesn't it?
Do
Criminal history stretches back quite a ways in your life?
Yeah, about 20 years or so.
Okay. Did you ever know Martin MacNeill?
Did I know him?
Yeah.
I was at the same institution with him.
Okay. Were you two friends?
Were we friends?
Yeah.
We just talked really, not too friendly with nobody in prison,
Okay. Acquaintances then? I'm sorry. I'll try to speak up. Were you guys, you weren't close friends, but did you talk?
Yeah, he was, by him being a doctor, and one of the guys that used to train with him, I was doing a little weight training, and my shoulder was hurt pretty, so he was telling me that doc was pretty good, and that he really was a doctor, and so, I started talking to him about basically health and diets and training, as far as that's basically what our most conversation was about.
Okay. Did you get to know him that way? Is that how you got to know him?
Yes.
Okay. You're calling him Doc. Was that his nickname there? Was Doc his nickname?
Well, that's what everybody called him, Doc.
Okay. What did you observe about Doc's health?
Doc was in pretty good health. He used to do a lot of, like what they call wind sprints and stuff, where you run about a 40-yard at full speed and get down and do like a push-up and a leg kick at each end, so many, that's basically why I was talking with him, trying to get, the idea how I can get in that kind of shape.
Okay. Did you see him doing those types of exercises?
About every day.
Okay. And did you ever see him having trouble doing those?
No, I have never seen him have trouble. I know I wouldn't have been able to do them.
Okay. Did you ever see him run on the track?
He ran track and, did a lot of different kind of calisthenic type exercises.
Okay. Did you ever notice a limp?
A limp?
Yeah, did he limp?
I didn't see him limping.
Okay. Did you ever notice whether he used a cane?
He never had a cane when I was there.
Did he ever talk to you about having cancer or MS?
Having what?
Cancer? Did Doc ever talk to you about him having cancer?
Cancer?
Yeah.
No.
Did it look like he had cancer?
I can't quite hear you.
I'm sorry. Did it look like?
Your Honor, foundation.
Sustained.
Okay, I'll move on. Are you familiar with the halfway house?
Yeah, the halfway house. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever talk to Doc about his, or did you ever talk to Doc after he was interviewed for the halfway house?
Well, I'm not sure when he was interviewed, but, you know, one day I had a conversation with him about, basically I was asking him about visitation. And when asked him, you know, do we get visits? And
Responsive. The question was about the halfway house, and he answered that he didn't know about it.
Sustained, you may continue.
Did you ever ask the doc about his chances for halfway house?
yeah, I asked him about that.
Well, tell us about that conversation you had with him.
Well, when I asked him about, first I asked him about visitation, you know, did he get visits, you know, and when he said that his wife was in prison, and I said, well, man, they told me that you killed your wife, and he said that if that was true, if they could prove that, you'd think I'd be sitting here talking with you. So I said, well, did you do it? He said, the bitch drowned. You know, and basically that was that conversation that I had with him. And, you know, he was upset about the halfway house and that they wouldn't give him none. So, you know, he was just saying it was some people didn't want him to be out there. They was afraid of him or something of that nature.
Okay. So you said that his wife drowned? Or, I mean, excuse me, you said that he said his wife drowned?
Yes, sir.
And you referred to her as a bitch?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I just want to clarify, did he also tell you that nobody could prove it? Or what did he say about that?
If they was able, when I said that, well, everybody, when he said his wife was in prison, basically I was relieved because, you know, I kind of got to talking with Doc and everything, and he was pretty helpful to me. So, you know, I said, well, damn, you know, just automatically asked, well, hey, man, they say you killed your wife. So, you know, I'm thinking that they got two people mixed up, that this is not the person they're talking about. Then he said that, well, if they could prove it, you think I'll be sitting here talking to you? You know, and then I asked him, well, did you do it? And he said, well, the bitch drowns. You know, basically that was, I didn't do no lot of talking with him about his situation.
Did you ever find out who he was talking about when he referred to the wife that was locked up?
No, I kind of didn't really, because I didn't know Doc that well. I didn't know, you know, his case, because I had been, when I got there, you know, I was going to get in people's business and stuff. So, you know, the people saw me talking to Doc, you know, on and off. And, you know, I asked him a lot of, you know, health questions and dieting questions and stuff of that nature. And the rumor was that Doc killed his wife, you know, and so, you know, when he told me that his wife was in prison, you know, basically, like I said, you know, I was relieved, you know, thinking that, hey, man, this is a decent fella.
It's just rumor, and it was just rumors about his wife being killed.
Yeah, but I didn't ask him no personal questions about the difference, who the wife was in prison or that, you know, I sort of left it at that.
Okay, so he never told you about who this other person was that was locked up, this other woman?
No,
Okay. I think that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may cross. And if you'd speak up, please.
Do you recall meeting with Investigator Robinson in January of this year?
Investigator Rod?
Yes, at Texarkana Prison. Do you recall the investigator coming and meeting with you?
I met with somebody once at Texarkana.
Okay. And is he in the courtroom today? Do you see him seated over there against the wall?
I met with those gentlemen sitting at the table there, and that guy over there too.
Okay. And they asked you a number of questions about Mr. MacNeill, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you gave truthful answers then, is that a fair statement?
Yes,
and in that interview, what you said in relation to drowning is that he just told me that she supposedly drowned, correct?
Well, verbatim, I'm not sure exactly how I said it, you know, But I'm saying that I was just repeating what he said to me.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I said,
In your
yeah.
interview,
I said, he
said-
said she drowned or something.
yeah, you didn't say in your interview that he told you the bitch drowned, did you?
Well, I'm quite sure. If I did, I didn't. I don't remember.
Yeah, you didn't say that at all in your interview, right? You just said that
I'm
he
not
told you
really-
she supposedly drowned.
I'm not really sure, sir.
Okay. You also indicated in the interview that you watched the TV shows about Mr. MacNeill, correct?
Well, after he left, I saw part of some interview with him dancing or some sort. It was at a dinner. It wasn't like.
Okay. Actually, in your interview, you indicated that you were watching the TV show about that, and that's what led to your conversations with Mr. MacNeill.
No.
You didn't say anything in your interview about the halfway house leading to those conversations. Isn't that correct?
If they didn't put it in there, I said I know that he didn't feel too good about being denied his halfway house. So if he didn't put it there, it's because that's the conversation was basically about visitation, and he brought up something, and he's, as a matter of fact, the conversation started about he was tired of being around all these child molesters and everything, and I asked him about.
Okay, that's good. I'll ask you another question. Okay, and Mr. MacNeill never told you that he killed his wife, correct?
He never told me he killed his wife.
You're not seeking any consideration for your testimony here today, right?
Am I what?
You're not seeking any benefit from the prosecution in exchange for your testimony here today, right?
I was going to a drug program. I was short. I was getting time off for the drug program once I completed, and I never contacted none of these fellas. They came, for whatever reason they called me up. I just tried to truthfully answer any question they asked me. I didn't know they were going to come get me. I didn't deliberately try to ask Doc questions to harm him or nothing like that. It wasn't like I was trying to,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. That's all the question.
Can I approach you, Honor?
You may.
Sir, I'm going to show you a transcript of the interview you had with Investigator Robinson. You said Mr. Spencer asked you about the halfway house, whether you're talking about a halfway house.
I remember I said something. I'm quite sure I thought I said something about it.
I'm going to have you look at these two lines right here, 211 and 212. Will you read those, please?
Which page, Jared?
We've got different pagination.
Can I see?
If I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, are you able to read those two lines, 211 and
Would you
212?
like me to read them?
Yes, please.
He kind of, most of the stuff was so upset about not going to the halfway house, and he kind of, hey man, I even think he called her a bitch, man.
Okay, so in your prior statement, you did talk about the halfway house. Now, when you were when you were interviewed by Investigator Robinson, you did talk about the halfway house.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you whether you've seen some things on TV about this case. Is that correct?
After he was left to go home, it just was like they showed an interview with him dancing or something.
I'm sorry.
At a,
Stop for just a second.
question called for a yes or no response, and so the answer is non-responsive.
Sustained. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, did you see anything on TV about this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you see that?
I guess when they was arresting him or something.
Okay. Did you see anything on TV about Doc's case while he was still there with you?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you recall telling the investigator that you asked Doc about whether he was a killer or not after having seen a little something on TV?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I hadn't seen it. I didn't even know they prohibited all that stuff about Doc, I guess, before I came. So, I didn't know who Doc was or nothing about him.
Okay.
Until the rumor got up.
Okay, when you talked to him about, when you asked him about killing his wife, that's because you heard rumors, is that correct?
Did I ask?
When you asked him about his wife, is that because you heard rumors?
Really, because I asked him about visitation, and the guys was like,
Okay.
he said that his wife was in prison, so I was relieved, like I said before. And
Sorry, stop for,
So when he
just,
said-
stop for just a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Non-responsive and asked and answered.
I'll
Sustained.
withdraw the question.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a different question. Were you and Doc, you've already kind of said you were more acquaintances than friends?
yeah,
Okay.
he was giving me a lot of advice about training and diets and taking care of myself.
Did you ever stop being friendly toward one another?
Did I ever stop being friendly with him?
Yeah, did you ever stop feeling friendly toward Doc?
Well, I never had a problem with Doc.
Do you have a problem with him now?
I don't have a problem with him now. I really hope he didn't do it, to be honest.
Okay. Are you aware that if you're lying about this, we could prosecute you for a felony perjury?
Yes, sir.
You're aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that if you lied to Investigator Robinson, we could prosecute for a felony obstruction of justice?
That's why I didn't lie.
Okay. Are you worried about being a snitch? Are you worried about being a snitch?
Well, I don't really consider myself as a snitch. I just think that I'm just telling the truth about a conversation when I was called up for whatever reason. And, but this can really become a serious problem because somebody else could look at it like I'm maliciously attacking the doc, and
What happens if someone else sees it that way in prison?
you could get killed or whatever. It's a dangerous situation.
Okay. Have you been threatened already because you were coming out here?
I have.
Will you tell us about that?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Counsel, if you'll approach. Is the question withdrawn?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Have you received any special treatment from prosecutors for your testimony in this case?
I've been punished for being here. I've been sitting in a freezing cell ever since I've been here, doors slamming, You know, I'm locked down 23 hours a day.
Less pleasant here than in federal prison?
And that's here. In federal prison, it was like I didn't even know that I was being called as a witness to the day before I came here.
So has anybody given you anything so that you would testify today?
Probably a death sentence for telling on him.
Well, in addition, let me ask it a different way. Have you gotten a deal from the
No, I
prosecution
haven't.
for
No one
the?
has promised me anything.
Okay. Have you been paid for your testimony?
No, sir.
Has your sentence or the time you're serving been changed at all?
No, sir.
All right. Do you have any promises from us for when you're done testifying that you'll get something later?
No, sir.
Are you still asserting that you're telling the truth?
Yes, sir.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Nothing further.
Do you have any questions for inmate number 4?
No.
You're free to step down. Thank you. May he be released from his trial subpoena? Inmate 4 is released. You may step down, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Brian, I think now might be a good time for a recess. The state's next witness is subject to the motion that was raised this morning.
Very good. We'll be in recess. Please keep in mind my prior admonition to you. Don't form or express any opinion about the case until it's submitted to you for deliberation. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Don't do any research on your own using computers, iPads, or something else. And avoid television, radio, internet news coverage of the trial. Court's in recess.